Hi guys, and welcome to another batch of your replays. Today I felt like going medium tanks, but there's also lots and lots of reasons why I picked out today's replays. It's been a while since a video. Again, I apologise. I thought I'd be free this week, but in Ireland we have an expression that no good deed goes unpunished, and a friend had his car stolen over the weekend. I ended up having to drive him around the country. Then I lent him my car, and he managed to destroy my car. He had it towed back to my hometown. He had it delivered to a garage. Unfortunately, it was not the garage I asked him to deliver it to, and basically the insurance company, the towing company, said they'd followed instructions. They didn't. It was delivered to the wrong place. I basically spent a day trying to find my car and couldn't. So my car went missing. Not only was it banjaxed, well, not only did it go missing, I ended up having to pay a lot. Well, I'm going to have to pay a lot in repairs. All because, and I had to track down the flaming thing, which I managed to do today. All because I decided to do a favor for a friend. It's just life. Life seems to be getting in the way of World of Tanks at the moment. Every time I think I have time to sit down and make videos, something crops up. I thought I'd be free for the next couple of weeks, and I got an email today or a text message today saying, no, I'm going to be working second week of October. So yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. But I'm going to try and get videos out as regularly as I can, and it's making me feel very stressed. It's making me feel really bad because I do promise a video every day, and just for the last couple of months between illness, work, and stupid real life reasons, I haven't been able to do that. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make at least 2, maybe 3 videos tonight, and hopefully going to have time to play World of Tanks. I've only played about 3 or 4 hours of World of Tanks over the last few weeks. Played over the weekend, and that's one of the reasons I actually wanted to talk about this video, or one of the reasons I'm bringing you this video. The Panther M10, apparently it was on sale over the weekend. I didn't know anything about it. I was too busy driving a friend around the country over the weekend to actually know that this was on sale, but apparently it was. So tanks that were removed from the game in previous patches because of their special matchmaking are now going back up on sale, starting with the Panther M10. Really, I don't know, stupid decision. Wargaming, I'm just getting so pissed off with wargaming at the moment. The tank was removed because of special matchmaking, and now it's being put up on sale, regardless of its special matchmaking. Now, the Panther M10 was not a good tank in the first place. I don't think it was a good tank. A lot of people say this is one of the worst, or was one of the worst premium tanks in the game. I disagree. I don't think it's a good tank, but I don't think it's a bad tank. The armor is not great on it, but it's okay. It's a medium tank. What do you want? It's a huge target. It's a very, very big target. It's bigger than most heavy tanks. You can see it's actually bigger than the Tiger that's beside it right now. So it's a big target. The armor isn't great. The view range is absolutely horrible. The gun is not fantastic. The DPM is okay, but the penetration, 150 penetration, 135 alpha damage. So penetration and alpha damage are lacking. The rate of fire is not fantastic. The DPM is okay, but it's not great. It could be better. Really, there's not a lot to recommend this tank for, other than the fact, 1, it's a very, very good German medium tank crew trainer, and 2, it's gets special matchmaking, and that means that a lot of the problems the tank has aren't as big because of the special matchmaking. So it's a tier 7, it'll only see tier 8s, it'll never see tier 9s because of the special matchmaking. It's actually in a tier 8 game here on Kharkov right now. It's been driven by Sidewinder, and we're just gonna go. Now, another reason I wanted to talk about the games today was I got a Twitch message. I haven't been on Twitch in a long time. I do apologize, but again, life just keeps on catching up. But I got a Twitch message asking me to do a video on World of Tanks terminology, things like side scraping, angling, going hull down, and a big one was support, because in a lot of my videos I talk about tanks that are support. And what exactly do I mean by support tanks? Well, even in the review for the Panther M10, I talked about the Panther M10 being a support tank. A support tank is not a tank that basically sits at the back of the map and snipes. They can do that, but that's not what I mean by support tanks. A support tank is a tank that moves around, lets other people engage targets because you don't have the armor, or you don't have the hit points, or for whatever reason, but it allows other tanks to engage enemy tanks and then basically takes advantage, supports them, helps them, and you can see here that Sidewinder has moved up, he's ambushed an IS, and keeping an eye on the minimap is very, very important. Very, very important when playing a support tank, because you want to get your tank into a position where you can actually do damage. So you can see the rate of fire is okay, but the alpha damage is low. And look at this, again, keeping an eye on this minimap. So Sidewinder hasn't engaged anyone directly, he's helping friends. He's moving in, he's got more than enough penetration to pen the back of a Löwe. He takes a hit. Now there's that armor, it doesn't have a lot of armor, but he's just going back to work while the AMX-13GF is asking for help, or 57GF, or 57F is asking for help. Sidewinder's just moving up, poking and shooting, so he's already up to 1400 damage. I mean, you wouldn't believe how quickly the damage can rack up. But look at this, he's constantly looking at the minimap. He's seeing a T37 is breaking through on the 1-2 lines. Now, there is no RT in this game, but he's going to engage this T37. The rest of his team are focused on an IS-6 in the north. A lot of enemy tanks have been spotted up north. So the south looks quite safe. And Sidewinder's, look, he's already moving, he's moving to engage the T-37. So he's basically supporting his team. He's not on the front line, he's not going head to head. He's using the speed and maneuverability of his tank just to move around, and that's already gotten him 2 kills and 1400 damage. So once again, he's looking for shots, looking for where enemy tanks have already been engaged. He's moving to attack tanks from maybe unexpected angles, unexpected directions. Just moving around, using the buildings as cover. There wasn't any cover where he was last moving towards the enemy tanks. But again, moving up, these tanks have engaged enemy tanks. He's going to go and see if he can hunt down the enemy heavies. Now, as I say, remember he's a tier 7, he's taking on tier 8 heavies right now. And another thing about the support tank is a support tank quite often has a gun. If you have a good gun, it's not really a support tank. If you don't have a good gun, like the Panther M10 fails to have, he's going to go for targets he can pen. Now, he can pen the IS-6, but you can see I've recently covered the IS-6. Tractor-spaced armor, eats the shot. But now he's focused on this M6. He's looking for tanks he can easily pen, where he's not going to waste ammo. And is that the front or rear of the M6? It's quite hard to tell. Probably the front. Constantly looking out for targets, constantly looking at the minimap. Now, his team have engaged the IS-6. So, is he going to go help? I probably would have popped out sooner rather than later because that KV-4 just went down. Could have used some friendly help. Look, he does have the rear of the M6. So rather than focusing on the IS-6 where he's going to have problems penning, he's focused on tanks he can easily pen. So KV-4 has moved in, he needs to help this KV-4. And he is, and once again, he's not focused on the IS-6, he's going to take care of the light tank. 1, 2, you can see the aim time is not fantastic. So he's got 150 millimeters of penetration, not going to go through the IS-6. Not going to go through his tracks at that angle either. He's using premium ammo, not going through the roof of the IS-6. A little bit unlucky because the roof is weak, but he is able to go through the cheek on the IS-6. Now remember that cheek, as soon as an IS-6 badly angles, 194 millimeters of penetration, shooting down on that cheek was more than enough to take him out. But he's up to 2,200 damage, he's on 3 kills, and here is the accuracy. The accuracy of this gun is quite good. He's sniping at the cupola on the Tiger 1, and Tiger 1 gets taken out, so he's up to 2.5k damage in a tank that a lot of people reckon isn't very good. Now, in the meantime, again, in the south, a lot of tanks have died. There's just a T28 prototype holding off a couple of low-health tanks down here, and he's using his speed and maneuverability to move down. So, the Panther M10, it's not a frontline tank unless you're top tier and you're fighting lower-tier tanks. That's the other thing. If you're talking about a support tank, just because someone calls a tank a support tank, if you're top tier, you've got a responsibility to your team, you've got a responsibility to play as a top tier. So you can be a little bit more of a bully and a more aggressive tank if you're top tier. But in this game, Sidewinder wasn't. He gets to the rear of the AMX, takes him out, again using the speed and maneuverability of the tank. Now they're not great, but they're good enough. So he's up to 2.6k damage, he's on 4 kills, and just 1 tank left on the enemy team. So this is a medium tank. Wasn't on the front line, assisting friendly players when they engaged enemy tanks. Shooting at tanks he's able to pen easily. Waffentrager's on a lot of health, and he's moving up into a flanking position. So support tank doesn't mean play passively. You can play aggressively in a support tank, especially when you're top tier. But really, you've got to help your friends, and sitting at the back of the map and sniping isn't helping your team. So even if a tank isn't very good, like a Löwe, and you see someone sitting at the back of the map and sniping, they're maybe not using the tank to the best of its abilities, but he's moved up, he's flanked the Borsig, he's getting to the rear, he's auto-aims, one shot in. Is he going to go for the round kill? No, because the traverse speed of this tank isn't great, but his rate of fire is enough to take him out. So there's 3k damage in a tank that isn't supposed to be very good, 5 kills on Kharkov. So the Panther M10, yeah, it was supposed to have been removed from the game, but Wargaming put it up for sale again. I'm not quite sure I agree with that decision. Yeah, it kind of makes it, they're forcing rarity on tanks, forcing people, first of all, to buy the tank because it's being removed, and then they put it back up for sale, forcing people who may have missed it around, or missed it first time round, to have to rebuy the tank because they're collectors, or because simply they weren't around when it was for sale the first time round. I'm not quite sure I'm happy with that decision by Wargaming, but it does mean they've done it with the Panther M10, and that means they've broken the rule, and it's possible that all the other tanks that have been removed so far from sale may end up appearing for sale again in future. They've done it with the Panther M10, so now they've set a precedent. So a really, really good game from Sidewinder, picking up his ace, and as I say, doing 3k damage in a Panther M10 in a tier 8 game, not too shabby. 1354 XP, very nice XP game, 3k damage, just thereabouts, 5 kills, and playing as a support tank. At no point, or very rarely in that game, did Sidewinder actually go head-to-head and take on tanks frontally. He was constantly flanking, looking for rear shots, looking for side shots, helping friends when enemy tanks, or when friendly tanks engaged enemy tanks. Sidewinder popped up and assisted them, and that's basically what I mean by a lot of support play. And not on the front lines, not giving away your tank or your hit points cheaply. There were a couple of places where maybe Sidewinder could have been a little bit more aggressive, but you can't argue with the results. 25 shots fired, 22 hits, 19 penetrations, and again, guns penetration not great against tier 8 heavies. Sidewinder did have to use a little bit of premium, but the damage was good overall. He damaged 9 tanks on the enemy team, destroyed 5, and you can see that even though he was firing some premium, he still earned a profit of 70,000 credits. So that was another thing I said about the Panther M10. The ammo costs are very, very cheap, so it is possible to make a lot of money with this tank. Probably one of the best tier 7 money makers when it was available. 2,000 XP overall on a ×3 event, left Sidewinder on 6,499. But that's one example, as I say, of what I mean when I say a tank is a support tank. It's not front line, assist your colleagues, move around, do damage where you can, and the Panther M10, it's a support tank, and Sidewinder played it really, really well. Next up, we've got GileTheGreat in the T54E1, the Tier 9 American medium tank autoloader. I have this tank, and I basically haven't played it yet because I'm free XPing some of the modules, but you can see that GileTheGreat is zooming in and out, and unfortunately he does that for most of this replay, constantly, and when I was watching this it was giving me a headache, so I'm going to pause it. Sorry, wrong button. I'm going to hit into free camera because I really I don't know, Gil, I don't know whether it's a nervous tick or whatever, just that you were excited or whatever, but yeah, a lot of zooming in and out. I mean, if I go into first camera again, he's still zooming in and out constantly throughout this replay, but this is a very good tank. Now again, this is on the theme of support, and once again there's a reason why I'm showing you this video, even though it annoyed the heck out of me with the zoom in, zoom out, is because sometimes you're top tier. Now the T54E1 doesn't have amazing armor, but it's got great burst damage. You can see Gil is moving up, he's encountered enemy tanks, there is RT in play, but he's top tier, so he's playing aggressively, looking for shots. And he's just gotten taken or ambushed by an AMX-30. So, gonna zoom out. Hope the going into fixed camera or third-person camera isn't too annoying for you guys. He gets 2 beautiful shots into the AMX-30. Third shot finishes him off. There's the power of the autoloader. He's got 1 shell left. It's always a question, do you actually fire that last shot or do you go for a reload? But he's just lost a lot of hit points. 2 hits from the AMX-30 has reduced him to 900 hit points. That means he can't afford to play quite so aggressively anymore. So he's still on the front line. He's gone for that reload. He's still zooming in and out, but he's looking for shots. And as I say, RT is involved, so he's kind of faking out the enemy tanks by moving back and forward, staying aggressive even though he's on a reload. Going to see whether or not he can do any more flanking. He's got the rear of this Panther. It's a shot into his track, 1 shot, finishes him off. He's got 2 shots left, but he's already retreating. So this is when you're top tier in a tank that might be considered a support tank, because the autoloader or any autoloader, it does okay on the front lines as long as you've got friendly support, but you're very, very vulnerable when you are on a reload, and that's why autoloaders tend to be a little bit more support tanks. But he's got lots of friendly tanks up here, but once again, you can see that Gile is just moving around looking for targets, but he's no longer on the front lines. He's now going to be playing more like a support tank. He's still got this zoom in, zoom out. Just swinging around, he's going to let other tanks advance, tanks that maybe have armor, tanks that have hit points. But he's going to be playing a little bit more passively, letting friendly spot for him. So it looks as if the team have won this flank. They're winning this flank quite comfortably. And Gile is just looking for more damage. He's already up to 1400 damage, 2 kills. He auto-aims, but there's T54 in the way, but he goes for the lower glacis on the Tiger 2. It looks like a stock turret, but it doesn't matter. This gun, 2 shots again, finishes off the Tiger 2. T54, 1 in the distance. 210 millimeters of penetration, 390 damage. Nice shot to finish off the T25 2. But Gile is no longer pushing. You can see that he is already relocating. They're being capped. Bulldog has come back to cap. Tiger 1 moving through the middle of the map. So Bulldog has decided no, capping is probably not a good idea, but he's given away his position, and Gile is on a reload. He's going back to support. He's still zooming in and out, and he does this constantly through the game. It gets even worse about now, so I'm going to switch it back to free camera. But he's been forced into the support role. He's lost his hit points, but he's keeping an eye on this minimap. And if you play with a small minimap, I really do advise using the plus and minus keys on your keyboard to increase its size, because the minimap is probably the most important tool that Wargaming give you in World of Tanks. And even if you're not using mods, I do recommend using the minimap feature. So, nice shot. Not sure if that was on the move because I was using third person, but as you can see, Gile is still doing that whole zoom out, zoom in thing again, so switch back into fixed camera, or free camera. But enemy team have pushed aggressively on the 1-2 lines. His team are pushing from the forest through the middle of the map. Lots of tanks left on the enemy team. Spots a Conqueror in the distance and goes for the hit. So there's kill number 6 for Gile. He's up to 2.3k damage. AT-15 now appears, as well as a T-34-1 in front of him. Not sure if he's seen that yet, but he's got 1 shot left. Fails to bounce, or bounces on the AT-15, fails to penetrate. Now he's on a reload again. And he's pushing up maybe to use these bushes for cover while he's reloading. So nice map awareness. You predicted what was going to happen, predicted that while they'd won the 9-0 lines, the 1-2 lines was going to collapse. He has now moved back into a support position, and again he's letting friendlies spot enemy tanks, and he is supporting them. He's taking shots from distance, aims fully, reloads, gets a shot into the AT-15, unfortunate to miss that one, and rushes that one. The accuracy at distance does not seem to be amazing, and that was a very, very poor magazine. Only manages to pen 1 shot, fails to pen the AT-15, fails to pen the medium tank, whatever tank that was that went up there, the T-34-1. But now the enemy team have moved back. They're engaging the tanks that came through the middle. Gile is still looking for shots. Not much to shoot at on this AT-15. He's on a reload. Now he could be using this time to relocate. I might have tried relocating maybe further down to maybe K3, K4. Because he's not getting shots. Enemy tanks aren't presenting themselves to be shot. So basically what's happened is all the friendlies have died. But a beautiful shot from distance on the T54E1. Gile really... He's got a good strong position here, but maybe he could have done more a little bit earlier. Maybe tried to get down to the buildings around J3 to get side shots and rear shots on the tanks that were engaging friendlies in the middle. But it's now a 2 versus 4 situation, or 2 versus 3 situation. It was a 2 versus 4 situation, but Gile took out the T-34-3. You can see he's still on a reload. So just friendly RT, and Gile left, and look where friendly RT is. Friendly RT, very intelligent RT player, very good RT player. Doesn't sit at the back where he was in danger of getting killed. But again, this autoloader, Gile gets spotted, AT-15 starts putting shots in. He probably could have moved back and probably could have used bush mechanics a little bit better there, but Gile is on 8 kills. He's taken a few shots from the AT-15, but waits till he drops off radar, moves up to another bush. Now he could have killed the Panther 2 without being spotted if he'd reversed and made sure the trees were solid before shooting, but he's got 2 shots left, and he gets spotted again. I'm really surprised he actually got spotted. Enemy RT is still in play, misses an RT shot. Friendly RT, as I say, really, really good play by that friendly RT, relocated up to A9. So Gile needs to spot for his RT. His RT has just fired. He's telling RT he's got 24 seconds left on a reload. Always good to communicate using in-game tools. And yeah, the RT is doing very well as well. RT is communicating, saying using in-game tools, reloading 14 seconds. So Gile has reloaded, but he risks a shot, takes out the AT-15, gets spotted, and now he's just got to worry about enemy RT. He's moving erratically. But that takes him up to 9. Yeah, there's enemy RT. So he's on 9 kills, guys. Just one more kill to give him the Pools medal. But really, really nice map awareness. Saw what the problem was going to be long before it actually happened. Used the speed and maneuverability of his tank to get back into a position to support his cap zone long before enemy tanks broke through the 1-2 lines. And he's earned 9 kills as a result. 3.7k damage done. And there's that annoying zoom in, zoom out. Gile, you gotta stop that. I was getting a headache watching this replay, and I was really, really very close to not including it. But on the other hand, I did receive, again, I said lots of reasons for today's videos. Again, this is an example, or another example of support play where you lose your health and you've got to play a little bit more passively, even if you're top tier. Gile did that. He's had a great game. But I was also asked for some more autoloader action recently. So particularly American autoloader action. So I can't remember who asked me for that, but there you go. I was looking through American Autoloader replays to get you this game, and it fitted in with the theme of today's video. So Gile has 3 shots left in his magazine. He's got 1 enemy tank left. He's on low health, 233 health left. He can be killed by RT, but he's got more than enough shots left. Looks like RT's a one-hit kill. Gile aims carefully, takes him out for kill number 10. And there's a Pools medal and a T54E1. So double congratulations are in order, because not only was it a good game, it was GileTheGreat's first Pools medal. Congratulations. It was an ace tanker, and along with the Pools he picked up a Top Gun, or the automatic Top Gun. He finished top on XP with elite XP, 1,337 XP, 3,700 damage done, 3,800 damage done, 10 kills, 23 shots fired, 20 hits, and 16 pens. So the gun, I did let him down a couple of places, a couple of unfortunate bounces at bad angles, but other than that, it's a very, very good gun. He spotted 3, damaged 10, destroyed 10, did 1,193 assistance damage, and 33 base defense points, all based on looking at the minimap, predicting what was going to happen, moving his tank into positions times where he was going to be able to support his friends. I think maybe there was one point where he could have been a little bit more aggressive towards the end and supported his friends a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, maybe if he did, he would have gotten killed and wouldn't have had a game as good as this. But he was playing with a standard account, unfortunately made a loss. I don't know whether that was because he fired a premium ammo clip or not. I didn't actually notice where he actually, or if he actually fired any premium ammo, but still, great game, and it wasn't too much of a loss. 1337 XP overall, no ×2 or bonuses, a first game of the day. Very, very good result, GileTheGreat. And as I say, there's a few reasons why I brought these games to you today. One, the Panther M10 was on sale over the weekend, and unfortunately I wasn't at home, and I didn't know that. But I do think it sets an unfortunate precedent because it means that Wargaming can remove tanks and then they'll bring them back at later dates, increasing their rarity and forcing more people to maybe buy them because they missed them first time round. But not sure whether I agree with that business practice. But I also got to show you some support play in medium tanks, which someone had asked me to define what I meant by support play. I also got to bring you some American Autoloader action, which someone else had asked me for. So anyway, again, apologies I haven't been around for a few days. Really, really crappy, stressful weekend, and it's not over yet because, as I say, I'm going to have to basically pay a lot of bloody money to get my car fixed, simply because I was helping out a friend. But life, you never know what is around the corner. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.